Allora, il mio intervento è l'intervento introduttivo a questo progetto.
I will introduce the project and I will try and explain the reason why we decided to make the project to understand a bit more about the shelf life of white from Umbria. Oftentimes, shelf line is considered as the moment, the threshold in relation to the decay of gonoleptic features and oxidation and so on and so forth. But it is not so that the two things always coincide. It could be that we have an interim phase during which we lose a number of features and qualities that distinguish one wine from the other. Here you see actors and protagonists of the wine supply chain. We will talk about consumers, importers, the winery, the estates, and the enologists. Certainly there are many enologists and winemakers here. Well, for a moment, let's try and adopt the perspective of consumers in order to understand what the market demands from us. Consumers nowadays know better, certainly more than they did 30 years ago. They know more about wine as a product, about the areas and the features of varieties. Certainly, it is so because wine is fashionable for the moment and people want to attend courses, they want to know more, they want to talk about wine, which led, luckily, to an increase in knowledge in general. Final consumers attentively choose varieties and territories. This is something which we know a lot about in Italy, and we're very strong on the aspect of terroir and territories, areas of production, because we offer a huge variety in that respect. Consumers wanted to have wines with an identity and a specific personality, in addition to being, of course, clearly defined in organoleptic terms. When I talk about identity and character, personality, I mean that wines have to be recognizable, identifiable. I would say that one of the best things for us and for producers is that we identify the area wine comes from without knowing what we are drinking in advance. So this is even nicer than recognizing a variety, and I think that we should bear that in mind, also thinking of consumers. In addition to that, consumers today drink less but drink better.
L'importatore e il distributore. Negli anni passati forse sia gli importatori.
In past years, both importers and distributors, or the equivalent of what we have now, sought to find and offer the best wine possible for that price range, while the identity of the wine was less important. Now they are better prepared about areas, they know vinification techniques, what they are, I mean, and oftentimes they are therefore not only clients but partners for enologists with whom we can partner and cooperate in order to have successful wines on the market. Importers and distributors taste a lot, are trained, are knowledgeable. They have the possibility of visiting several areas of the world more than enologists do. They are trained, therefore, and they are also, for us, an important source of information about what final consumers like and want. Clearly, based on that, importers and distributors have increasingly become demanding vis-à-vis the estates and wineries. We, in a way, raised the bar when compared to 15 years ago, we enologists. So more quality wines are on offer, and as a consequence, importers and distributors ask for more and more in terms of quality. Then we have the producers, who are, of course, focused on the territory, the area of production, because they are there, they have a specific location for their vineyards, and this is what is of utmost interest for them, of course. Local vineyards and local varieties have become of utmost importance, and this is relevant for us too. It was said earlier on that we have in Italy more than 300 different varieties, which is a heritage we have to exploit fully. Then producers are also paying attention to sustainability and to the market. It is so that obviously we need to produce wines that respect a certain series of features that pertain to their identity, and that is for sure, but we also need to sell. We can't simply produce and forget about the market. So we have to strike a balance there and try anyway to provide and make the best wine for the market. Then enologists, in the light of what we said in the beginning, and going back to the consumer perspective, consumers who want to have variety, single variety, also wines. So all these demands that we are very precise in our enology. We can't simply apply the same protocols to different areas for the same variety, because the raw material we work with is absolutely different, which means that we have to adjust, and we need to be clear about what we're working with. We shouldn't go for a standardized product. In the past, we went for quality because there were fewer quality products on the market, but now there is plenty of them, and people want different wines. They want a variety of different wines. In addition to that, we also and always need to avoid oxidative processes, because this links back to what I said about standardization. And oxidation is not only something that pertains to the very last phase when wine has degraded entirely. There are various interim steps that lead to that. At the same time, we also need to guarantee a longer duration, so better longevity for the whites. Precision enology entails specific protocols based on the combination of the variety and the terroir. And then there is another aspect that we need to consider in relation to non-standardizing products, and it is over-ripening of grapes, and we talk about whites. And at the same time, we also need to pay attention to excessively invasive techniques. We have to avoid oxidation. As we said earlier on, this is one of the parameters that really we need to consider, because otherwise wines look more similar, and what markets do not want to drink always the same wines. And longevity, controlling oxidation not only during fermentation, vinification, but also after bottling, is a very important element.
Il nostro lavoro non è finito il giorno in cui imbottigliamo, ma è finito.
Our work does not stop the moment when we bottle the wine, but our work is concluded when the bottle is uncorked. So this means that we have to make wines with a shelf life which is as long as possible. Within that scenario and context, there are several factors to be considered, which is what we do also with the Wisheli product, including a control of instability and metals. So thank you very much.